The silence inside the grand glass conservatory was so thick, you could literally hear the soft, steady melting of ice inside the silver champagne buckets. I stood right near the edge of the elevated mahogany stage, my fingers gripping a heavy gold leaf leather folder so tightly that the skin over my knuckles had turned a pale, stark white. The smooth, luxurious texture of imported Italian leather felt entirely out of place against the sudden, overwhelming panic building inside my chest. Inside that elegant folder was a single piece of heavy, watermarked paper. But to me, it represented a lifetime of endless sacrifice. It was the physical, undeniable manifestation of my grueling 80-hour work weeks. The hundreds of cold takeout dinners eaten completely alone at my office desk at 2 a.m, and my quiet, desperate hope for a real family connection. It was a legal transfer of a controlling equity stake in a prime commercial development zone. Fully paid, free and clear of any debt or financial burden. A gift worth over $1.2 million. I extended it slowly toward my younger sister, Chloe, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I genuinely expected a tearful hug. I expected a moment of profound, quiet gratitude. I expected a monumental shift. A moment where we finally became true sisters instead of a walking bank account and an ungrateful dependent. Chloe snatched the gold folder from my trembling hand with a sharp, manicured sigh of deep annoyance. She lazily skimmed the bold legal text printed at the top of the document, her heavily lashed eyes darting quickly to the property location. For a split second, her flawlessly contoured face froze in genuine confusion. Then, that confusion rapidly morphed into a sneer of pure, unadulterated disgust. She lifted her chin defiantly, pulled the wireless microphone closer to her glossy lips so the entire massive room could hear her clearly, and let out a laugh. It was not a soft, overwhelmed giggle. It was a sharp, theatrical, deeply mocking laugh that sliced right through the soft jazz music playing in the background. "Is this cheap paper supposed to impress me, Vivienne?" she sneered, her voice echoing off the vaulted crystal ceilings, dripping with unimaginable condescension. "Are you actually serious right now? The 14th Street district? That neighborhood is entirely industrial. It's surrounded by dirty brick warehouses and noisy shipping docks. I run an eco-luxury interior design brand. Do you have any idea how cheap and low-class it makes me look to be associated with an industrial zone?" 200 well-dressed guests fell dead silent in an instant. The cheerful clinking of crystal glasses stopped abruptly. The soft murmur of polite conversation completely vanished. I could physically feel every single pair of eyes in that massive room darting frantically between the two of you, waiting eagerly for my inevitable emotional collapse. Chloe casually tossed the $1.2 million legal transfer straight into a nearby floral arrangement, letting it fall right into a sticky puddle of spilled champagne. "You've always been so painfully boring, Vivienne," she announced to her 500,000 online followers, as 3 live-streaming cameras tracked her every move. "You sit in your dirty hard hat surrounded by cement and steel, and you think everyone else wants your uncultured junk. Bringing me a piece of paper for a warehouse district on my wedding day is honestly just embarrassing for you." The humiliation was a heavy, physical weight pressing firmly against my chest, making it almost impossible to draw a normal breath. My mother, Eleanor, stepped up onto the stage, wrapped a protective arm around Chloe's waist, and looked down at me with deep, practiced maternal disappointment. "Vivienne, really?" My mother scolded softly into her microphone, ensuring every single guest witnessed her authority. "Why must you always make your sister's special moments about your rigid, uninspired job? You have no artistic taste, darling. Stop throwing your industrial paper around and ruining your sister's visual aesthetic. If you can't be supportive of her creative vision, just sit down and be quiet." I stood there, completely paralyzed, staring at the woman who gave birth to me and the spoiled sister I had bankrolled for nearly a decade. The heavy childhood labels washed over me one last time, heavier and more suffocating than ever before. Tough, practical, emotionless, workhorse. And right then, standing under those glaring chandeliers, something inside me finally snapped. A cold, quiet, unmistakable fracture in my soul. The lifelong desperation to be loved evaporated into thin air, leaving behind a terrifying, crystal-clear rationality. I smiled back. A calm, quiet, horrifyingly calculated smile. "You're completely right, Mother," I said softly into the microphone, I have no taste. Enjoy your evening." They had no idea what I had just started, and neither did anyone else in that room. My name is Vivienne. I am 35 years old, and for the last 7 years, I have served as the principal structural engineer and managing director for one of the most ruthless commercial development firms on the West Coast. My entire professional career is built on evaluating multi-million-dollar land contracts, identifying critical structural vulnerabilities under extreme stress, and executing decisions based strictly on logic, numbers, and undeniable leverage. In my professional life, they call me the Vault. I don't crack under pressure. I don't make emotional errors. I strip sentimentality away from facts and secure the upper hand every single time. People hear my job title and picture expensive tailored suits, panoramic office views of the city skyline, and a glamorous life of total control. But what they didn't see was the hollow, aching exhaustion that plagued me every single day. They didn't see the heavy burden of carrying a family that treated my survival as a mere convenience. I always carried myself like someone who could take the heaviest hits, because that was the specific role assigned to me from birth. I was the shield. I was the provider. I grew up in a household where roles were assigned early and enforced with surgical cruelty by my mother. My father passed away when I was 12, leaving behind a mountain of debt, a crumbling suburban house, and zero financial security. From that exact moment, Eleanor decided that I was the designated survivor. "Vivienne is our concrete pillar," she would proudly tell the neighbors at summer barbecues, smiling her soft, heavily practiced smile while I hauled heavy boxes into the hot kitchen without asking for help. "She's built tough. She doesn't need soft treatment or constant affection. She can take a beating from the world and keep moving forward." Then she would turn gracefully, pull a young, pouting Chloe close to her side, and smooth my sister's blonde hair with a genuine tenderness she never once showed me. But my sweet little Chloe, she is incredibly delicate. She is our little artist, our sensitive soul. The harsh reality of work and stress would crush her spirit, so we all need to take extra care of her. Those childhood labels were not harmless family quirks. They were permanent life sentences. Being the concrete pillar meant my college education was funded entirely by 3 simultaneous part-time jobs, severe sleep deprivation, and high-interest student loans that took me a decade to clear. It meant my teenage tears were viewed as an annoying nuisance, while my personal boundaries were treated as an act of supreme, unforgivable selfishness. Being delicate meant Chloe was permanently exempt from reality, consequences, and basic human respect. For the last 6 long, exhausting years, I had been the silent, unseen financial engine keeping Chloe's entirely fake life running smoothly. When she dropped out of 3 different art programs, I paid off her tuition defaults. When she decided to launch an eco-luxury interior design firm with 0 business experience, 0 capital, and 0 clients, my mother begged me to step in. "Vivienne, please," Eleanor had sobbed into the phone 4 years ago, weaponizing guilt like a master assassin. "You earn so much money at your engineering firm. What is a few $1,000s a month to someone in your tax bracket? Your sister is trying to build a brand from the ground up, but she is so sensitive to financial stress. Her delicate creative process requires a beautiful, inspiring environment. You don't want her to have a nervous breakdown, do you? You are the strong one. You can absorb this minor cost. Just help her this one last time until her brand takes off." It was never the last time. It was a revolving door of emotional extortion disguised cleverly as family loyalty. Every single month, $3,500 automatically left my checking account to cover the lease on Chloe's trendy downtown showroom. I paid for her photography equipment. I paid for her public relations managers. I paid for her luxury retreats under the guise of sourcing vintage materials. I even paid the expensive monthly lease on her luxury sports coupe, because she tearfully claimed that arriving at client meetings in a standard sedan would damage her brand reputation. I justified it all by telling myself a pathetic lie. This is what supportive families do. Once her business stabilizes, she will finally appreciate me. Once she succeeds, my mother will finally look at me with genuine pride. Just 2 weeks before this disastrous wedding, I had a tense lunch meeting with my closest corporate attorney, Marcus. Marcus sat across from me at a quiet downtown bistro, pushing a thick stack of financial audits across the table. His expression was dead serious. "Vivienne, you need to wake up," Marcus warned. his tone leaving no room for gentle argument. You've been funneling over $100,000 a year into your sister's business, Vivid Habitat. But look at these legal filings. She doesn't view you as a partner. She views you as a bottomless financial tap. I stopped eating and rubbed my aching temples, feeling a massive tension headache rapidly coming on. She's expanding, Marcus, I argued quietly. Interior design takes time to yield high profit margins. Once this wedding is over, she's locking in a major commercial contract with a hotel group. No, she isn't, Marcus countered, tapping a specific line on the document. I ran a background check on her corporate structure. Chloe filed a business modification 3 months ago. She listed your monthly payments as non-repayable equity gifts. Furthermore, your mother took out a $400,000 home equity loan on her house to fund this lavish wedding. And guess who she listed as the secondary financial guarantor without your knowledge? I froze. The fork in my hand felt suddenly heavy as ice. What did you just say? Eleanor forged your secondary signature on a loan indemnity form, Marcus said flatly. If your mother defaults on that $400,000 loan, which she will because she has zero income, the bank will not go after her home first. They will come straight for your personal investment accounts, your properties, and your equity in your firm. My blood ran freezing cold. I looked out the restaurant window at the gray rain falling over the city, completely unable to process the sheer scale of the betrayal. My own mother, the woman whose opinion I had spent my entire life trying to elevate, had treated my financial survival as collateral damage for a single night of social media theater. Don't go to that wedding, Vivienne, Marcus urged softly. Cut them off today. Let me file a formal notice of fraud with the banking authority. No, I had whispered, holding on to a pathetic residual hope that makes me sick to remember now. I'm giving her the commercial land transfer at the reception. It guarantees her business real income for a decade. If I hand her complete financial independence, she won't need the home equity loan. She can clear my mother's debt. We can finally end this cycle. Marcus looked at me with deep, agonizing pity. You cannot buy love from people who only view you as a financial utility, Vivienne. They will take the gift and spit on you for not giving them more. I had ignored his wise warning. I desperately wanted to believe that a gesture massive enough could fix the broken dynamics of my family tree. I thought handing over a multi-million-dollar opportunity would buy me a sister who loved me. I did not know it would be the exact, precise weapon I would use to dismantle their entire existence. Stepping out of that reception hall into the cool night air, the emotional numbness faded, replaced by a terrifying, crystal-clear focus. I walked straight to the valet stand at the front of the venue. Driver's license, please, I told the young attendant clearly, skipping the valet ticket entirely. Bring me the silver sports coupe. It is registered solely under my corporate firm's name. Bring it right now. 5 minutes later, the valet brought the pristine vehicle around. I slid into the driver's seat, gripping the smooth leather steering wheel. Driving away in her prized sports coupe, leaving Chloe stranded on her wedding night without her precious vehicle, felt deeply, immensely satisfying. But taking the car was just an insignificant opening move on a massive chessboard. The true, complete destruction was quietly waiting for Monday morning. Monday morning arrived with a strange, unfamiliar sense of profound peace. I woke up at 5 in the morning entirely on my own, made myself fresh espresso, and sat at my large glass desk on the 40th floor of my firm. The gray rain from the weekend had finally cleared, leaving the city skyline sharp, clean, and impressive against the morning sun. My personal phone was vibrating constantly against the desk. There were 14 missed calls from Eleanor, 22 furious, unhinged text messages from Chloe asking why her luxury car had been towed overnight, and 3 panicked voicemails from her new husband, Julian. I ignored every single one of them. Let them sit in the uncomfortable dark. Let the confusion turn into rising panic before the real storm hit. At 7 in the morning, Marcus walked into my corner office, carrying a heavy leather briefcase. He took one look at my face, sat down across from me, and smiled a dark, knowing smile. The vault is fully operational, I see, Marcus said, pulling out a stack of legal notices. Are we executing? Every single line item, I replied, my voice steady, cold, and completely devoid of emotion. Here was the undeniable truth that Chloe, in her supreme laziness, had completely overlooked. 4 years ago, when she wanted to establish her interior design business, she had terrible credit and zero startup capital. To get the landlord to sign her downtown showroom lease, I incorporated the business under my personal umbrella corporation. Chloe did not own her business. I did. I held 100% of the corporate shares, 100% of the intellectual property, and total administrative authority over all banking, web hosting, and social media accounts. I cracked my knuckles loudly in the quiet room and brought up the master corporate dashboard on my dual monitors. First, I navigated to the automated payment portal. I located the recurring monthly transfer of $3,500 for her showroom lease. I clicked cancel. A confirmation prompt appeared on the glowing screen. Are you sure you want to terminate this recurring transfer? I clicked yes so hard my mouse rattled against the wooden desk. Next, I handled the corporate accounts. I issued an immediate total freeze on all corporate credit cards issued under the business name. Chloe was currently at a 5-star resort in Santa Barbara, attempting to charge an expensive spa treatment. The card would decline humiliatingly in front of the resort staff. Then, Marcus executed the fraud affidavit. We submitted formal legal documentation to the Risk Management Division of First National Bank, reporting the forged signature on the $400,000 home equity loan. Because Eleanor had already drawn down $150,000 to pay for the wedding caterers, florists, and orchestra, the bank froze the remaining balance instantly and issued a formal demand for immediate repayment. Eleanor had 30 days to produce the full $150,000, or face judicial foreclosure on her house. Finally, I accessed the master server for her business website and official social media accounts. With 3 precise, decisive clicks, I changed the master administrative passwords, locking her out completely and forever. I opened her official Instagram page, the one with 500,000 loyal followers that she prized above all human relationships. I deleted her carefully crafted aesthetic bio about luxury interior design and mindful spaces. I replaced it with a single brutal sentence. This entity is currently undergoing court-ordered corporate restructuring and forensic audit. All operations suspended indefinitely. I deleted her glowing, professionally edited headshot and replaced it with a plain gray square. Total digital darkness. In less than 45 minutes, I had surgically severed every single financial artery keeping their toxic delusion alive. By 2 o'clock that afternoon, the storm moved directly from the digital world into my corporate office lobby. Through the soundproof glass walls of my office, I watched the elevator doors slide open. Marching out into the pristine marble reception area were Eleanor, Chloe, and Julian. Chloe was still wearing her wrinkled resort dress, her face blotchy red and swollen from hours of frantic crying. Eleanor looked gray and aged, clutching a stack of bank notices in her trembling hand like a weapon. "Where is she?" Eleanor screamed at the terrified young receptionist, her voice echoing loudly through the quiet, professional lobby. "Where is my selfish, vindictive daughter?" I stood up slowly, adjusted my tailored suit jacket, and looked at Marcus. "Let's go finish this." We walked calmly out into the lobby. As soon as Chloe saw me approaching, she lunged forward, her manicured hands twitching with rage. My firm's private security officer, a broad-shouldered man named Hank, stepped smoothly between us, blocking her path with an unyielding arm. "Vivienne!" Chloe shrieked, her voice cracking hysterically. "You evil, jealous monster. The resort called the police on us. My credit card declined. My car is gone. My business page is completely shut down. What did you do to my life?" "I didn't do anything to your life, Chloe," I said, my voice completely level, cold, and detached. "I simply stopped paying for it." "You stole my company," she screamed, stomping her sandal against the marble floor. "I built that brand." "You didn't build anything," Marcus interrupted, stepping forward and opening a thick red legal folder right in front of her face. "This is the corporate registry. Vivienne owns 100% of the entity. You were merely an at-will brand representative. As of 8 o'clock this morning, your position has been officially terminated for gross mismanagement of business funds." Eleanor pushed past Chloe, her eyes wild with furious, desperate terror. She thrust a crumpled bank notice directly toward my chest. "The bank sent a fraud investigator to my house this morning, Vivienne." Eleanor gasped, her voice trembling violently. "They are threatening to seize the house. They said you filed a notice of forgery. How could you do this to your own mother? I raised you. You are supposed to be the strong concrete pillar who protects this family." I stepped closer to Eleanor, looking deep into the eyes of the woman who had spent 35 years draining my soul. "You didn't raise a protector, Eleanor," I said, my voice dropping to a sharp, icy whisper that made the entire lobby go dead silent. "You raised a builder. And when a builder realizes that a structure is completely rotten to its foundation, she doesn't keep spending money to hold up the crumbling walls. She demolishes it. We are your family," Eleanor wailed, tears finally smearing her heavy makeup. "Where are we supposed to live if the bank forecloses?" "I suggest you look into the industrial district on 14th Street, I replied, tossing the champagne-stained deed from the wedding onto the reception table. "I hear the rent is very low, even if it doesn't fit your aesthetic." Julian stepped forward, trying to look intimidating in his custom suit, pointing a finger at my face. "You won't get away with this, Vivienne. My father's lawyers will sue you into oblivion for corporate sabotage." Marcus let out a short, terrifying laugh. "Please do, Julian," Marcus said smoothly. "We are currently preparing a countersuit for corporate embezzlement, grand larceny, and bank fraud against all three of you. The audit shows Chloe funneled $60,000 of business capital directly into her personal wedding dress and resort stay. If your father wants to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars defending her from felony charges, tell him to call my office." Julian's face went completely pale. He stood there froze for 3 seconds, looked at Chloe like she was a radioactive biohazard, took 2 steps back, and walked straight into the waiting elevator without saying another word. "Julian!" Chloe screamed, watching the elevator doors close on her marriage after less than 48 hours. "Julian, wait." She collapsed onto the cold marble floor, sobbing hysterically, while security guards firmly guided both of them toward the revolving exit doors. As they were escorted out into the cold rain, Eleanor turned her head one last time, looking at me through the heavy glass. For the first time in my life, I didn't see a powerful, controlling mother. I saw a small, broke, desperate woman who had gambled her entire future on vanity and lost every single penny. It has been 8 months since that explosive afternoon. Eleanor lost her suburban house to judicial foreclosure. She and Chloe are currently living in a small, cramped 2-bedroom rental apartment on the far edge of the city. Chloe is working as an entry-level retail associate at a department store, earning minimum wage and slowly paying off her personal debt. Julian filed for a total marriage annulment 3 weeks after the incident. As for me, the commercial land development project was sold to a major green energy firm for a record-breaking profit. My high-rise apartment is quiet. My bank accounts are completely secure. And for the first time in 35 years, when I drink my hot coffee on the balcony in the morning, I am building a life for myself, rather than sacrificing my sanity for people who viewed my hard work as their birthright. Blood makes you related. Respect makes you family. And if you don't receive it, never be afraid to tear down the rotten building and walk away. Thank you so much for listening to this story. If you found this narrative deeply satisfying, please take a second to hit that like button, leave your thoughts down in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories every single day. Always remember your true worth, stand firm in your boundaries, and take care.